Welcome everybody to look at another film in the Columbia Horror box set, which is just behind me there. So yeah, it's 1935's Air Hawks. So this is directed by Albert S. Rogel, who also did the 1941 version of The Black Cat, which is nowhere near as good as the 1930s version. And this is a science fiction film, clocking in at 69 minutes long. Stars the likes of Ralph Bellamy, who was in the likes of The Wolfman, His Girl Friday, The Ghost of Frankenstein, and The Lady on a Train. Also stars Tala Burrell, who was in the likes of The Frozen Ghost, which is part of the Inner Sanctum series of films, as well as The Power of the Whistler. And finally, Victor Killian, who was in the likes of I Shot Jesse James and Dr. Cyclops. So, a small independent air delivery service is menaced by a mad scientist with a death ray machine that blows up planes in mid flight. So, this is the third film in this box set now, and again, it's even more removed from the horror genre that it is supposed to represent. As yeah, not only is it a science fiction, there's also plenty of drama, romance, and even comedy than anything horror, with only really one quite horrifying plane crash, chiefly mainly down to the scream that is used to indicate the man's incoming demise, is only thing that really comes close to that genre, unfortunately. That said, thanks to the good cast, solid pacing, a grossing enough plot, some decent production, well executed character interactions, and the fact it doesn't outstay its welcome, all at least do help to make for an enjoyable enough effort. While there was one properly funny scene to break up what is otherwise quite a mundane plot. So yeah, it's fine. It's 3 out of 5. It's not anywhere near as offensive as Black Moon, but yeah, neither is it quite as much of a horror film as Behind the Mask, even though that was barely a horror film as well. But it's not quite as good as that film either. So yeah, 3 out of 5, but nothing more than that really, quite frankly. So yeah, that's the artwork we've got for it, and there's a disc that it shares with the fourth film that we'll look at some point. So on the disc itself, we've got a high definition remaster of Airhawks along with the original mono audio. We've got audio commentary on Airhawks with film historian Jeremy Arnold from 2024. Then we've got New York to Berlin in 26 hours, 1933, clocking in at 2 minutes long. It's newsreel footage of aviator Wiley Post, who plays himself in this film. He's not in it very much, but I think the principally used his name on the poster to sell the film because he was a well-known person back in the 30s because he went around the world quicker than anyone else, either solo or with a co-pilot. So yeah, they mainly used him in this film as a way to boost, interest in the film. But unfortunately, he died the same year this film came out. So yeah, that which is a great shame, and it inevitably was from a plane crash. So we also got image gallery as well as new and improved English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. And Airhawks is a world premiere on Blu-ray as well. So it is nice enough to have this film on Blu-ray. It is an interesting little bit of a time capsule, especially in terms of, the way that aviation was seen in a lot of ways, with, Wiley Post being seen as this, you know, grand figure because he was able to go around the world in such a short amount of time, easily breaking the rule that the world record for what was originally the quickest way around the world was via an airship called the Graf Zeppelin, which got around in about 20 odd days or thereabouts, and then he went around and did it in a few days. I think it was like 8 days in comparison, so more than got around less than half the time, which really did put the prospect of going around in an airplane around the world, quite frankly, on the map. Ironically enough, so yeah, it's interesting in that regard, but it's nowhere near a horror film. So why it's in this Columbia horror box set, I don't know. Maybe it's just what was considered a horror film back in the 30s is what isn't quite considered a horror film now. But even then, there were plenty of horror films in the 30s that you could categorically say were horror. Frankenstein, Dracula, and such. But this, yeah, I find it hard to say it is anything like a horror film, quite frankly. So yeah, which is a real downer because I was looking forward to this box set because I am a big fan of 1930s, 1940s horror. So far, the only horror film we've had is one that I didn't even really like. So yeah, not getting off to a great start this box set, but hopefully the next three will make up for it. I do believe that at least the last two are more along the lines of a horror film, but I never know, quite frankly, because yeah, the titles could easily just be putting a ruse on me. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.